Hi folks, this is all the fruits, and today I want to show you a particularly large fig tree in Germany. Somebody asked me how big fig trees can get in Germany. It seems that most people still see Germany as some cold Arctic country without a lot of non-hardy fruit trees. Well, there are parts of Germany which are quite hard, where you should never try to grow a fig tree, like parts of Bavaria and also parts of Eastern Germany. But here in the southwest it can get quite warm. Well, about fig trees in Germany, for them it's important to be warm and sunny in summer, or you will not enjoy the figs. It's also important that the winters are not too harsh, or they will freeze back. So in the 80s, in this part of Germany, we had very few fig shrubs which were freezing back regularly. In the 90s, they become a lot more common. Actually, even in the 80s, there were a couple trees in the area known as Weinstraße, which could retain a trunk for up to 1 or 2 decades sometimes without completely freezing back. But I would say in the 80s and in the 90s it was quite normal for most of the fig trees to freeze back to the root, so they would resprout from the root. In the 90s, I think the biggest fig tree we had here in Heidelberg was a nice big bush about 6 meters in diameter. That would be how much? About 20 feet. The second largest I saw towards the end of the 90s was, a bush about 5 meters in diameter here in Heidelberg. Funny thing is that the biggest bush never had any fruit, not even non-edible fruit, just no fruit. I guess it was a rootstock or some other stuff not really suitable for German standards. Well, this big bush without fruit has been removed a couple years ago, so here I'm showing you the biggest fig tree that grows in Heidelberg, according to my knowledge nowadays. Well, I'm sure it froze back at some time, because it's not really a tree, it's a giant bush, like most bigger and older figs around here. Also, I think either a couple years ago, maybe around 1913, when we had very harsh winters, either it froze back to about 4 meters, or they pruned it really severely. Now, on the size of this fig tree, well, I'm not sure, but it seems to be about 8 meters. As you can see, it's taller than 2 stories of this house. Basically, it's about 1 meter taller than the second floor of this house, and it starts about 1 meter below the second floor of this house. So I would say it's about 8 meters, quite bushy, not just a single stem. That's because it froze back a couple of times, I'm sure. But this is the biggest fig tree I know in Heidelberg. Here on the other side of the street we have a fig tree I would consider, it's quite big for our German standards, maybe 6 meters, about as high as the second floor of this house. Well, a little bit too big for most people to pick the fruit, so I guess it's rather planted for ornamental purposes, but that's about the average size of big fig trees here in Germany. Well, this one is definitely at least 2 meters larger than the average size. Well, I cannot try the figs for you, but this one seems to have edible figs. So it's not bearing as many figs as some other trees. I've seen trees where you can get like 50, 60, 70 kilograms of figs in a year, at least. But size-wise, it's the biggest I know here. Okay, folks, so this was the biggest fig tree of Heidelberg, maybe the biggest fig tree of Heidelberg, according to my knowledge. Stay tuned for more fruit videos from the parks and gardens of Heidelberg. And don't forget to like, share, comment and subscribe.